So I think, as Jeff laid out, we have obviously a real nice goal to go after multi-channel customer service. And as Kathleen noted, we're probably not getting there today. So one of the things I wanted to do was talk a bit about how technology can apply. Before I go into technology, though, I think one thing that's real important to realize is that it's not about technology so much as it is about people. I'll give you a real-world example. I'm a fan of stock car racing, and if you watch, they just entered their kind of playoff phase, if you will. The same 10 drivers always show up in the playoffs every year after year because the people are outstanding. Those drivers are the best in the world, and they see that over and over again. And if you apply that in the customer service context, if you don't have top-notch, motivated, excited guys that are willing to help customers, nothing we do on the technology side can help. But conversely, if we take those same drivers and took away their stock car and gave them a 1970 Volkswagen Beetle, they probably wouldn't do so well in the championship. So at some level, what we need to do is take those highly motivated employees that are really trying to do a good job and give them the tools that allow them to accomplish that. And again, as we saw from Kathleen's side of it, we probably haven't done that yet, at least not effectively for all of the channels. So what I'm going to do is, in the next 5 slides, kind of go over each of the kind of key areas where technology can be applied. And, these are based on findings from Frontrange. These are the offerings that we have. Certainly, as Jeff mentioned, there's for everything you can buy in the market, there are competitors. So whatever tools you look at, these are things you're going to want to try to seek out. First thing is distribution and routing. When you start moving into the multi-channel world, one of the things that we see as a common mistake is that there's the phone system, which people call you, and again, as we saw in Kathleen, we're probably not doing a lot of automated call distribution or skills-based routing yet. That's a mistake. That getting first call resolution down as low as you possibly can means getting the call to the right person who has the right answer and having knowledge bases in front of them that they can use. Order of complexity, or order of magnitude in complexity, though, is when we start adding things like I've interacted through email with you. So now, do we have that just go to an Exchange inbox and have one of our agents log on once a week to that inbox and go see if there's anything that they need to work on? Or is there a way that we could take all of these interactions, all of these customer inquiries, put them into a single queue, if you will, and then start managing them by priority? And priority starts to become a factor not just of, gee, are they live on the phone or is it an email? Because certainly we have an expectation of responding more quickly to someone that's actually physically waiting on the phone, but also prioritization based on other factors. What's the lifetime value of this customer? If our most important customer that we deal with, that's represents 80% of our business, just sent us an email, perhaps we might want to take that email before we take a caller that's been on hold for 15 seconds. Let the next agent take that guy. So if we're able to blend everybody into what we call a unified queue, we can do a much better job of handling them in their priority order. Again, certainly by channel is one thing that we want to prioritize on. We want to prioritize on how quickly could we answer, could we auto-respond to them, all kinds of different things we can take into account. Once we've got that person, that interaction ready to be handed off to an agent, let's use skills-based routing to make sure it goes to an agent that's going to be able to handle the call. Next thing we want to talk about is, once we've again identified that target, are there things that we can automate? One of the things that technology really does well and people kind of lack the ability to do is be consistent. We like novelty as people. We want to answer the fresh questions, the interesting ones. Doing the same task over and over again is something that we're better letting systems take care of. Again, an example might be if someone was calling in to order a new product, great, we can, as people, talk to the person, find out what their needs are, take down the order, but it would be great if then that kicked off the appropriate process. Maybe it needs to check to make sure you've got appropriate inventory in stock to be able to ship that order. If not, place a task for somebody to go purchase new inventory. Let's go create a task for somebody to go out into the warehouse, pull the item out of stock and get it ready for shipping. Let's create a task for somebody in the shipping department to put together the box, to get the labels ready and all that kind of stuff. So if we can combine both that original ability to route now to have workflow processes kicked off so that we can automate as much of the process as we can and leave the novel aspects of it to our customer service agents, A, your customers will have a better experience, and B, your agents will have a better experience because they can deal with the things that are fun and interesting and keep them motivated. If there's a thing that we preach here at Frontrange, and this came up both in Kathleen and Jeff's comments, let's stop asking stupid questions. One of the things that we took as kind of a novel approach is that we don't build a phone system, we don't build a service management system. We built a service management system that had phone, email, web technology built in. And so it kind of changes the way we have an interaction with a customer. And let me give you a real-world example. If you call into our support department, the first thing we're going to do is check and find out what products you own of ours. So Frontrange has several product lines, as you know, service management, heat product line, goldmine product line, etc. It's going to know immediately before the phone even starts to ring, what product line are you calling about. The next thing we're going to check is to see, are you calling us about an open incident? Do you have an open ticket in the system? And rather than, like most IVRs, asking you to enter your 16-digit case number, it's going to read back to you the case number and the subject as to why we think you might be calling and ask you to confirm. So what that's going to do is change the perception you have about the system, is that it's not asking you stupid questions and or when delivering you to the agent, having them turn around and ask you the same question again. Instead, the system is all working as a seamless entity, and therefore when you confirm that's what you're calling about, the system will go do a presence-based check, see if the agent you talked to last time is available. If they are, their phone rings, that case pops up on screen, and suddenly what you heard as an incoming caller was a single ring, and you're talking to an agent that was the same guy you talked to last time. It almost becomes a one-on-one conversation. Again, that reduces the amount of work you have to do to re-explain yourself, etc. The other thing we can do with an effective voice implementation is allow you to extend service hours without having to get involved with having people, working after hours or spreading across, continents and so on. We could actually have it to where, again, through presence detection, identifying that there aren't anybody that would be around able to answer the call, allow you to leave a voicemail, which, again, being integrated into our service management application, wouldn't just be a standalone voicemail in somebody's inbox, but rather create a case or an incident behind that, have the voicemail attached to that incident, so that when an analyst comes in the morning, they're able to listen to the voicemail, put together a response, and then based on whatever preferred channel that the customer said they wanted to be responded by, an email response can go back out to them, a phone call could be placed, etc., so that the agent gets the customer gets as quick a response as possible, and you're able to extend your service hours without having to involve additional employees and costs. The other way that we can do to try to reduce our service costs and, again, integrate everything together is both web self-service, which I think of as the ability for a customer to come to you and provide a free-form question. Perhaps they have a service question they need to get resolved with you. But more importantly, the ability to put together what we call a service catalog. There's probably a whole suite of services that you provide to your customers that can be pre-classified and made available to your customers so that they can pick and choose. Again, if they wanted to do a maintenance renewal, they wanted to order a product, they wanted to, in the examples we've got up here is a high-tech thing, being able to order a new laptop, things like that. We can pre-classify those and allow your customer to basically give you all of the information you need to fulfill their request without them ever having to get online with you. So they would pick the category of service request they wanted to fulfill. We could ask them keyed questions on that, and that could drive the entire workflow, as we saw a couple slides ago, to be automated to where we never have to involve an agent at all. We can just go out and automatically resolve that customer service request. If an agent or even a field representative needed to be dispatched, again, that could all be automated through the process based on our keen understanding of the service request. Again, going back around to the old adage, you can't manage what you can't measure. One of the keys that we find by, again, integrating the web self-service, the email interaction, the phone interactions with our service management applications is that we can start providing really tuned metrics. Probably all of you today that run a call center are managing average handle time. You're managing first call resolution rates, things like that. But what you may not have the ability to do is, say, on a product line basis, what's your average handle time? Can you tie, if it's not a first call resolution, what's the average talk time per case classification? So for a given incident type, how many calls does it typically take, and how much time does it take to resolve? Because we've combined the two systems together, that comes up automatically. We're able to build scorecards to see on a by product basis, which, say, me as a product manager is very curious about, or on a per case type, a given problem. We can start doing analysis of, gee, should we add this feature in because we get X number of calls a month about it, or should we wait and take some other higher priority item? So by taking technology and merging all of these different disparate metrics together into one system, we can get a much clearer view of what our customers are looking for. As Jeff mentioned, even finding out their Net Promoter Score, how happy are they with us. We can automate through the workflow, coming back and having surveys that would be either voice or web-based to help us understand, and again, tie back in to this scorecard so that we can see, did perhaps the enhancement that we did put in, did that solve a bunch of customers' problems, and are they measurably happier with us? So I want to keep this brief. We're about